Welcome to the only daily podcast focusing on compliance news of the day. Each morning, start your day with a cup of coffee and Tom Fox, the voice of compliance, to hear about 4 of the top compliance, corruption, or leadership stories you will need to start your day. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network.
September 19, 2020, the Rest in Peace Ruth Bader Ginsburg edition. And we begin with that story, somewhat melancholy story that Ruth Bader Ginsburg, the second woman to serve on the Supreme Court and a pioneering advocate for women's rights, has died. She was 87 and was the second female U.S. Supreme Court justice after Sandra Day O'Connor. Later in life, she became a cultural icon to many feminists and others as the notorious RBG. For one period of time, she was the only female Supreme Court justice, and as she said, it was a terrible look for the court. 8 men promenading into the Supreme Court chamber and the tiny RBG with them as well. She was later joined on the court by Sonia Sotomayor and Elena Kagan. It's going to be interesting to see which way Trump goes in this selection. If he'll go for, a white wing male party boy idiot again, or if he'll actually try to submit someone who will pass muster from a moderate base. But Ruth Bader Ginsburg, a great lawyer and a great justice, has died. Next up from the Wall Street Journal, many companies are facing a back-to-work dilemma as who comes first. Companies reopening their workplaces are wrestling with a thorny problem: who should come back first? But deciding this can get complicated very quickly. Some employers remain wary of potential legal liabilities if workers get sick on the job. Others worry about opening themselves up to discrimination claims by excluding certain groups who may be at high risk. Companies also want to avoid the pressure of pressuring employees to return to work before they're ready. Now overlay on that people's feelings being bruised when they're told they're not essential and they don't have to come back. So lots of moving parts here. And of course, then when you have Jamie Dimon announce that, millennials need to be in the office because they don't work as hard when they're at home. Nothing like idiot statements from the top. Next up from the Wall Street Journal, Risk and Compliance Journal, Swedbank is under investigation from the Financial Supervisor Authority in Sweden for breaches of market abuse regulations. In a statement, the bank said the investigation covers a period of September 2018 to February 2019 and relates to the disclosure of inside information and the obligation of the bank to establish an insider list in connection with the disclosure of suspected money laundering within the company. The Swedish FSA has confirmed that it has opened the investigation, and Swedbank is assisting in this investigation going forward. We conclude with an article from the Financial Times that TikTok has been banned from U.S. app stores. The idiot U.S. Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross has removed TikTok from U.S. apps starting at midnight last night as Washington implements an executive order from Donald Trump. Also targets WeChat. The U.S. Commerce Department stopped short of forcing Apple and Google to remove the Chinese versions of TikTok and WeChat from their app stores. Ross said that he had taken significant action to combat China's malicious collection of U.S. citizens' personal data. Of course, this is absolutely a falsehood and meaningless because it's just part of the wider trade war by Trump against China. The Daily Compliance News is a production of the Compliance Podcast Network and a proud member of C-Suite Radio. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you'll join me again tomorrow.